It's been a few weeks since the release of War Thunder's latest update, Sons of Attila, which means that it's time to take a look at some of the changes and additions that you might have missed. There were quite a few new visual effects added in this update, and my favorite one being the gun barrel heating effects, where prolonged firing of autocannons and machine guns will result in smoke coming off of the barrel. And another visual change that you honestly probably didn't miss is that trees and foliage now react to the wind. Now, it might seem like a small change, but Gaijin seems to be very proud of this, and so much so that they felt the need to highlight it in the update trailer.
And trees now have more realistic foliage.
Unfortunately, the effect looks very unnatural, and this should be obvious to anyone who has ever seen a tree before. And we aren't the only ones who think it's weird either. Pretty much everyone that has seen it thinks it looks a little ridiculous. So hopefully Gaijin continues to iterate on the implementation of this effect. Now, I know some of you really enjoy using bushes on your vehicles, and well, I have to report that Gaijin has finally nerfed decorations, which does include bushes. And now all decorations can be shot off, which means tricks like covering the Sherman Jumbo's machine gun port won't work as well anymore. And honestly, I'm a big fan of this change, as it theoretically improves both gameplay and realism, although in practice, it's rather unimpactful. In fact, the first time I saw this effect firsthand was during the filming of this segment, which also doesn't really count because it was a custom battle. Now, this next one I'm sure most of you have experienced. You're almost done reloading and ready to take a shot, and suddenly all of that progress is just gone when your loader dies and a ghost takes the shell out of the breech. And after the update, this is now a thing of the past, since you get a reloading checkpoint or save point at 80% reload progress. And for guns that use 2-piece ammo, there is an additional checkpoint at 50% reload progress. And next, a few rapid-fire small changes. Some Russian top-tier helicopters, including the Ka-52, received a redesigned heads-up display. And there's also a very nice update to the ordnance tracking camera because it now tracks the target that you're locking instead of just orbiting around the bomb or missile. But unfortunately for Gaijin, this updated camera functionality will give you a front-row seat to the missile proxy fuse bug that is currently plaguing air battles. Now, they have already acknowledged this bug, but still, don't be too surprised if your missile just starts phasing through enemies. And unfortunately, the reserve tier M8 LAC lost its vertical stabilizer. And once again, we have new sounds for the ground-based 50 cal machine guns. Now, luckily this time it's not going from better to worse, but do let me know how you guys feel about this change. And a bug that led to the Saddam 25 Mistral's seeker being offset in the tracking reticle has finally been fixed. And we also got a new T2. However, it's not the Japanese jet fighter that you all know and love. Instead, it's a rank 1 Swedish bomber. Fortunately for the Japanese mains, however, the real T2 also got a slight buff. Its thrust multiplier was increased from 1 to 1.001. That's a massive increase of 0.1% for those of you keeping track. Oh, and I should probably also mention that the T2 has AIM-9Ps now, or else people might think I'm intentionally sweeping that one under the rug. Or would it be under the tatami? And there has also been a couple of grind-related changes, with the RP-related ones being very well publicized, so instead I'll talk about the reworked camouflage unlocking system. Now, technically Gaijin increased both the kill multiplier and the unlock requirements, but the TLDR is that, on average, camos now take significantly less time to unlock. There may be a few exceptions, but there are 40,000 lines worth of changes, and I don't have time to check every single line. But overall, this is a positive change for the player base as a whole, especially for new players and those who enjoy their camos. And speaking of things that improve the new player experience, there are now on-hover animations for modifications. These all look really nice and they're quite well made. However, I do have a minor complaint. They used the same animation for all of the tank mobility upgrades, being the filters, transmission, and engine, even though the engine upgrade gives double the engine power increase. It's such a minor bug, but I just can't unsee it now and it'll annoy me for the rest of time. Gaijin, please fix. Now, this last one probably flew under your metaphorical radar since it was changed at some point between La Royale and Sons of Attila, but there were some tweaks made to the Mach cone effect to make them less intrusive. Now, it's a really subtle change that most of you probably won't notice, but it does improve the top-tier jet experience, even if not by a huge amount. Speaking of positive changes, you too can do something positive by hitting the like and subscribe button.